A few years back, someone posted a video on Facebook of folks dancing at an Art Deco festival, and among the dancers were two women dancing together. One of the commenters, with the best of intentions, posted something about the women embracing their sexuality. The commenter was answered by someone who'd attended one of my lectures where I'd pointed out that women dancing with women was very common in the Jazz Age, and that one shouldn't infer too much from that. The second commenter was particularly correct in that the two women in question were mother and daughter, and there was no sexuality embracing going on there at all. This does, however, highlight how our views and assumptions have changed. We live today in a world that jumps to a sexually based inference as something of a default. While the people of the Jazz Age were far from innocent, there was a certain innocence in their tendency to not assume a sexual element when people danced with each other. This applies equally to opposite and same-gender dancing. The dance holds of the Jazz Age were very close. They were body to body, and the open frame stance of today was very much out of fashion. In this hold, which we today generally only see in blues dancing or Argentine tango or high school slow dances, men and women routinely dance with multiple partners, spouses, lovers, friends, and strangers, and seem to take it in stride, a level of physical intimacy that many people today find a bit uncomfortable. Further, the social mores of the time held that it was tedious and unsociable for couples to dance exclusively with one another, so it was generally accepted that this intimate hold would be practiced rather promiscuously within one's social circle. This isn't to say that all Jazz Age dancing was innocent and chaste. There was an unambiguous sexual element in some of the dancing of the time, but the people of the time were clearly attuned to nuance and context, and did not automatically see things like dancing close or same-sex dancing in a simple black and white way. I should mention that there were plenty of lesbian and gay bars and clubs in Europe and America in the Jazz Age, with varying degrees of openness or secretiveness depending on the level of tolerance in their area, and in such places same-sex dancing was, of course, the norm. This, however, is not about gay culture in the Jazz Age. It's about what the non-gays were up to. This was an era of near universal dancing. The percentage of the population who danced was huge as compared to today, and most men regarded dancing as an essential social skill. Nevertheless, it appears that the supply of men willing to dance was frequently not up to the demand of women wanting to dance, and the women of the time thought nothing of filling that gap by dancing with each other, or perhaps dancing solo in dances like the Charleston. This was extremely common, and when looking at images and film from the era, you generally don't have to look far to see two women dancing together. Men dancing with men was not nearly as common. For the most part, it appears that men did not dance with other men when there were women to be danced with. However, in a context where women were not to be had, such as on shipboard, men dancing together was no big deal, though the photos I have seen of it often have a joking quality that suggests a certain level of self-consciousness and discomfort. In fact, it appears that up through World War I, the Navy's old tradition that sailors should dance for an hour or so on a day for exercise was still in force, though the sailors of 1918 had not learned the hornpipe that was assumed in the beginning of that tradition, and so they danced the foxtrot and the tango with their shipmates. It seems like same-sex dancing in a mainstream heterosexual Jazz Age context falls into a few basic categories. First, women dancing together in a routine social context, at a dance, at a bar, at private party, usually on the same floor as mixed-gender couples. I should also note that there were also such things as women-only dance classes. And then you also have men dancing with men in a woman-free environment. And then you have women dancing together in a salacious or suggestive context. Women dancing the tango together seem to be a particular favorite for titillating a male audience. This also includes gender-bending couples with women in drag. Argentinian men dancing tango together also seems to have been a thing. Which brings me back to my point about context. Clearly, there was a prurient, sexualized context for women dancing with women. But far more commonly, there was a routine, non-sexualized, no big deal context within the social dancing scene, and women danced together unself-consciously in the same way they would have done with a man.